Well, hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Middle Country Public Library podcast. I'm Sal, here in the studio with my fabulous colleagues, Sara.
Hi.
And Nicole.
Hello.
How's everyone doing?
Chilly.
Okay.
I feel like we haven't done this for like a month. It's kind of weird.
Feels
I don't
like
know.
it.
It kind of feels, I don't know, maybe it is, but yeah, anyway, but we changed our clothes. So
I think we
obviously.
should wear the same clothes in every episode.
Yeah.
So welcome back to the show. Just a reminder, during these very cold winter months here in the Northeast, our library is open every day. And not only is it open every day, but we have a lovely cafe. And we have some great new
Hot drinks
and great new espresso drinks this month. We have our cinnamon caramel dolce latte.
Wow, a lot going on.
That's a
Right.
mouthful.
It is a lot, as well as
Say that 3 times.
we are keeping our peppermint mocha for a little longer because we've gotten good reviews on the peppermint mocha.
That sounds good.
So yeah, definitely come down, read a book, read a magazine, newspaper, get a nice latte, and enjoy our beautiful space that we have here at the library. So with that out of the way, who would like to go first this week?
I can go first. Yeah.
Okay,
Just
Sara,
go right in order.
what do you have going on?
Okay, so really quickly, I just want to talk about our reading challenge for the year.
Okay.
We just started it last year. We had 24 and 24.
Uh-huh.
And this year, we're going to do book bingo.
Okay.
So we have different bingo boards. That's on paper. I'm sorry, guys. It's not electronic based. So, you have to make a bingo. So
Okay.
it's kind of like the 24 challenge, but it's not, you can do as many or as little as you like.
Okay.
So, for example...
May I see? Do you have another copy you can give me?
Yeah, so
All
there's
right.
6 different boards with different prompts. So if you finish one board and you're like, you know what, I can fit in 12 more books or 6 more books or whatever,
Oh.
you get another bingo board and they have different prompts. So you won't be doing the same things.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, so for example, you could read a book by a local author, read a book set in space.
Okay.
We have listened to an audiobook. You can always listen to an audiobook for any of these, obviously. But for people who don't listen to audiobooks, that can be one of them. Read a food memoir. Read a self-help book. Example, I'm not going to go through
So are
all
you
of
getting
them.
like across, down, diagonal, like a bingo?
You just get, right, so you just get a regular bingo, nothing fancy.
Okay.
So you just pick the ones that you want to do. You're going to put the title of the book, the author. You're going to fill out the information. You're going to hand it in. And every bingo board that's filled out,
Yeah.
you can hand it in and then you'll get a raffle ticket. And then it's the same thing at the end of the year. Everyone that has a raffle ticket will be put in for the end of the year prize.
Nice. And last year, you had a bunch of people win for the 24.
We had
24.
5 winners, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, the only thing is that we are adults, so you can handle this yourself because it's not online. So that means you have to keep track of it.
Can you print that out from home though? Or do you have to come in and register at
You
the
have
desk?
to come in and register
Okay,
at
and then
any
they give you the-
adult desk. What you can do is take a picture of it and then just keep track. And then
yeah.
if you need
Okay.
to print it out or whatever, we'll always have copies for you.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to do that and keep track of it that way.
No, I think it's appropriate that they have that's the page.
Some people like
It doesn't always have to. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be digital.
Over on our site, for the 1,000 books
Yeah.
before kindergarten, you could do either online or on paper. And the kids, they love the paper.
Yeah.
They don't like the families. Because they color in the little thing,
Yeah.
and people love paper.
Yeah. So that's a little something.
Nice.
But I wanted to talk about the Golden Globes.
Oh yeah, they just happened, didn't
They just happened. So people probably did watch it. Maybe I did not.
I didn't either.
I didn't even know it was on. That's how out of the loop I am.
I heard there was some controversy though. Is this true?
I don't know. I didn't even know it was on. About what? The winners?
Yeah, the winners.
There's always
yeah.
controversy about
Well,
the
I
winner.
think they thought Wicked would win, and they did not win the.
Well, they won like the consolation prize.
They
and-
won the best box office.
Yeah.
something or other.
Yeah. But I have a feeling it's going to win when part 2 comes out, and then it's,
Oh, right. Yeah.
I kind of feel like that award is kind of like, yeah, people went to go see it, but it's a terrible movie.
Well, I think people were so upset because like Top Gun Maverick and all this stuff, like it
Yeah.
was so popular and did so well that, but it doesn't win anything.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think they're like, but But we, we,
The public likes us.
made the year for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the best performance by an actress in a supporting role in any motion picture was Zoe Saldana
Okay.
in Amelia Perez. And I never heard of this.
I never
We
heard of
we do not.
any-
The reason why I'm going over this, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what it is, and if we have it in the library.
Okay.
Because people are going to be asking
Yeah,
us.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do not have this in the library because it is Netflix.
Oh,
on now.
No.
Yeah. So sorry, guys. They really want you to subscribe.
Yeah. That's not fair. You know what? Netflix, for these types of movies, they should charge. So you want to watch the movie? $19.99. Boom, you watch the movie.
I know.
Right? And that's it.
Well,
and
it
you're
had
done.
to.
Well, you can subscribe for
I
a
guess
month.
you can subscribe for a month, yeah.
But
Forget
didn't
what I
these
just
movies
said.
have to be released at some point in a theater to be?
Maybe
or is
not.
Just
They
the,
do.
That might be the Oscars.
Just
Oh, maybe it's the
Oscars?
Oscars. Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
But
Okay.
it doesn't have to be everywhere. It doesn't be
Right, it can
be
nationwide.
limited.
It could be like in LA.
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
showing
yeah,
which.
yeah.
Okay, so Amelia Perez follows four remarkable women in Mexico, each pursuing their own happiness. Cartel leader Amelia enlists Reader, an unappreciated lawyer, to help fake her death so that she can do something.
Okay.
So that she can fix stuff.
Fix stuff, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So she can finally live authentically as her true self. Amelia Perez what? It keeps repeating. Okay, sorry, guys.
So, yeah, I was wrong. Maybe $19.99. Maybe like $7.99.
Okay, so best performance by an actress in a television series, musical or comedy, is Jean Smart in Hacks.
Okay.
So that
She's been around for a while. She's
Oh
a great
yeah,
actress.
I love that
Yeah.
show.
we have this, so you can rent this
I
season
didn't know
one.
if the most recent season was the best actually, but I'm glad she won because I do
Yeah.
like
No,
that show and she's great.
She's
Yeah.
a good actress.
Okay, so Hacks, excuse me, explores a dark mentorship that forms between Deborah Vance, a legendary Las Vegas comedian, and an entitled outcast 25-year-old. So it's kind of a comedy.
Yeah.
Okay, so then best performance by an actor in a supporting role in any motion picture, right? And this is Kieran Culkin in
Kieran.
A Real Pain. And again, do not have this. So
Because why?
I think this is just coming
an
out in the
independent-
theaters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So mismatched cousins reunite for a tour through Poland to honor their beloved grandmother, but their old tensions resurface against the backdrop of their family history. It's a comedy.
I think I might have said this on the podcast before, but I want to mention again that once Kieran was in town in Riverhead filming a movie.
I don't think you
I didn't.
mentioned
Okay,
this.
so he was filming a movie in town.
Yeah.
Right. And I did not know that he was filming a movie until after this happened.
Yeah.
But my dentist was right next to the house where they were filming, and I'm like walking up to get my dental appointment, and I'm looking, and I'm like, that's Kieran Culkin on smoking a cigarette on the porch.
Oh, that's so
Did you
funny.
just stop and be like,
I was just like, give him a little, all right.
okay, so we have best performance by an actor in a television series drama, and that was won by Hiroyuki Sanada, who I love, in Shogun.
Shogun was the big winner of the night.
Very big winner.
Yep. So Shogun, as we all know, is a remake. Not a
Shogun.
remake. There was Shogun with
Well, there was a Shogun when I was a kid.
yeah,
It was
with
very popular.
Richard Chamberlain.
Yeah.
And so it's not a remake of that Shogun. I believe it was a book.
Mm-hmm.
So it's another adaptation of the book.
Yeah.
So when a mysterious European ship is found marooned in a nearby Japanese fighting village, Lord Yoshi Toranga discovers secrets that could tip the scales of power and devastate his enemies. So
It looks pretty good. I haven't seen it yet, but it looks pretty
yeah,
good.
no, yeah. I think one of my colleagues said that it was like every episode was like a movie.
Yeah.
It was so well done.
Yeah.
But we don't have it. It's not available yet.
Because it is Hulu, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so then we have best performance by an actress in a supporting role in a television series. Jessica Gunning in Baby Reindeer.
Okay.
Netflix, so we know what that
Netflix,
answer
yep.
is.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
I feel
So-
like this isn't a good trend.
No,
Like,
it's a terrible trend.
It's
It's a
so
lot of-
limiting. It's
yeah.
Yeah,
so
it's a terrible
it's like
trend.
becoming like Broadway, where
Yeah.
there's like a handful of people that could really go to a Broadway show,
Yeah.
you know, and like it's this is like what it's moving towards. You can't get it anywhere unless you stream these things.
Yeah.
Even to go to the movies are very expensive now.
Or you can get it, but it'll be super outdated.
Right,
It won't be
yeah.
like cutting edge, right? So then we have best performance by an actor in a supporting role. Again, Shogun. Tadanobu Asano. Then we have Best Performance by an Actor in a Television Series, Musical, or Comedy. And that is Jeremy Allen White, The Bear.
Okay.
We do not have that either, because that is also Hulu.
So some of the controversy.
FX though. It's not like who FX Hulu.
Well, it's the same company owns it.
No,
now.
I know, but I feel like FX was a TV. They should.
Disney. Disney owns it all.
They own it all.
Another bit of controversy, though, that I was reading was that supposedly, like, I don't think anyone from Only Murders in the Building won. And people are like, why are you giving it to this guy in The Bear? You know,
Because
Martin
Only
Short.
Murders in the Building wasn't that good this season.
But still, the acting was good.
Yeah, Steve Martin and Martin Short were both nominated. So The Bear is about a young chef from the fine dining world, returns to Chicago to run his family's sandwich shop. A lot of shishes in that. Okay, best screenplay,
Yes.
Peter Strawn, whatever, Conclave. We have this.
Oh,
Yes.
I never heard of this.
We do have this.
You have heard of this.
I just saw this, actually.
Yes, on streaming, but
Yeah.
we do have it. Blu-ray, regular DVD. When Cardinal Lawrence is tasked with leading one of the world's most secretive and ancient events, selecting a new pope, he finds himself at the center of a conspiracy.
Have you seen it?
Well, I heard there's a twist.
Great movie,
And
the
the twist is
entire
weird.
way, and the twist is just kind of like pulls the rug out from underneath
Yeah.
you, but it's not like a good twist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like a-
what? They didn't have to do. You didn't have to do that.
didn't have
There
to
were
go there.
other. I'll just say this: there are other twists that they could have done that I thought would be much more like shocking than the twist that they did. That's it. Great
It's
movie
rigged.
though.
That's the
Great,
twist.
great movie. Great acting. Oh my goodness,
Okay.
the acting and that's great.
Best motion picture non-English language.
Uh-oh.
Amelia Perez.
Okay.
Okay. Best performance by an actor in a limited series is Colin Farrell in The Penguin.
I hear this was well deserved.
Yeah.
And we do have this. So
We do.
We
HBO?
do have this. Following the events of the Batman, Oz Cobb, aka the Penguin, makes a play to seize the reins of the crime world in Gotham.
Oh.
I watched his
Good for him.
acceptance speech because they like made a big shout out to the woman who ran craft services, and it was like
course
very
he
sweet.
did.
Yeah,
I love Colin Farrell. I love him.
yeah. Me too.
Okay, so best performance by an actress in a limited series, Jodie Foster, True Detective Night Country. We also have this.
Good.
Okay.
All right. So it's getting positive now.
Okay, best performance by an actress in a motion picture. Surprise.
Who?
Demi Moore in The Substance.
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay.
And we do have this.
All right.
Now, I was very surprised by this because it's a body horror. And you go, Sarah, what is a body horror?
Yes, you should know though.
Sarah,
don't
I
you?
do know what it is. So there's
tell
different
us.
genres in
Okay.
horror. And when it's a body horror, it means that it's like body modification.
Okay.
So,
Was
You know, like
the
Pinhead.
men like body horror at the end?
yes.
Yeah.
It's all body horror.
Okay. So, he says it right there, body horror. So, you know,
Well, good for body
if
horror.
people want to see this, just be prepared that you're going to be grossed out. That's basically what it is. It's a
Yeah.
gross out. A fading celebrity takes a black market drug, a cell replicating substance, hence the substance that
Yes.
temporarily creates a younger.
Adrenochrome.
A what?
Adrenochrome. That's like the
It's an actual thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
they like suck the cells out of babies.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know if it's that, but it temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself.
Yes.
And things go wrong.
See, I think body horror is after eating a week's worth of cheese and cookies for
Well,
the
that's your
holidays.
body horror, for sure. Then we have Best Performance by an Actor, Motion Picture, and that is won by Sebastian Stan.
Oh,
It's called A Different Man.
nice.
It's coming out, I'm sure. It's not available yet. An aspiring actor undergoes a radical medical procedure to drastically transform his appearance, but his new dream face quickly turns into a nightmare. That's a comedy drama thriller. It's not horror.
I've seen the trailer. It looks pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Best Director.
A few too.
I've never even heard
No,
of this.
me neither.
Brady Corbett. This is the Best Director. The Brutalist. It's not available
not
yet.
yet. Okay.
When a visionary architect and his wife flee post-war Europe in 1947 to rebuild their legacy and witness the birth of modern U.S., their lives are changed forever.
Okay.
Yeah. So I believe Adrian Brody also won.
Nice.
So wait, I have one more. Everything else is just repeated.
Yes.
Shogun. Best performance by an actress in a motion picture drama is Fernanda Torres. I'm Still Here.
Okay.
We do not have this.
Okay.
It's a docudrama Mother is forced to reinvent herself when her family's life is shattered by an act of arbitrary violence during the tightening grip of a military dictatorship in Brazil in 1971. So, yeah, and best performance by an actor is Adrian Brody in The Brutalist.
Okay.
Best motion picture is The Brutalist. Best motion picture musical or comedy is Amelia Perez, which we talked about.
Wow.
And that's that. That's,
And that's
the major.
And the best box office, whatever they call it,
Wicked,
like
yeah.
it was Wicked.
I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't heard of.
Half of those, no, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think this has probably been going on for decades and decades, but this is probably the reason why they made up this award, this best award, because these awards usually are not what the people enjoy. It's more like what the critics think the people should enjoy.
I mean, the thing is with going forward, since everything is changing, like everything's digital and streaming now, that we're not going to hear half of these things because it's on different things. Where before it was always in the movies, and almost everybody knew what was playing in the movies.
Yeah.
But like, I don't watch everything that's on Netflix. Like, especially when they tailor it to you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
Yeah, sometimes I go under, like, it'll open up and it'll be my husband's profile, and I'm like, I don't already have this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he's watching any of mine. It's like all these different.
Yeah. So, I do think that it's going to become more and more like, not esoteric, but very like, well, I don't know what 90% of this stuff is. Just
Is your Netflix For You page, is it all horror?
It's well, there's a lot of true crime,
Okay, yeah.
international thrillers, and anime.
Very good.
You really want to know? Yeah,
Excellent. Well, thank you, Sarah.
sure.
And I guess when those come out eventually,
We will get them as soon as we can.
Yeah.
And I just want everyone to know, if you are watching and you go, but hey, I can see it on Amazon that you can buy it. Those are not legit.
Those are not real.
And we're, as a nonprofit organization, we cannot engage in illegal
things, yeah.
copyrighted infringements.
It's just me in the theater. Selling it to you.
Yeah, here's a good clue. If you're looking at the record in Amazon and it says something about the region, like if it says all regions or region 1 or region 2, it's a bootleg. It's not a real.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, because they have to specifically say what region it's in, because when you run it in your player, it might not work. If it's coming from Asia or India or one of those.
So I just want you to know, I know, because we have gotten that before. People are like, but it's on Amazon.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah.
Well,
Nicole.
Yeah.
What do you got going on this week?
So we also have reading clubs. Ours is winter reading.
Oh, nice.
And it's Yeti Set Read.
that's cute.
Oh,
Yeah.
how adorable.
Yeah, so
Yeti.
it's not like year long like Sarah, like over on adults. Like this is our winter one, and then we have our big summer one. So the winter one is a little bit smaller. So you'll come into the youth services desk and sign up. It is through Beanstack, and but you can also get a paper log
Oh,
too.
nice.
So
Paper log.
Very
if you like the paper.
That's so cute.
Yeah. So track your reading, and you'll color in a footprint for every 15 minutes you read, and then once you hit 4 hours, you get a prize. So unlike the summer where you kind of get these raffle tickets to put in for the prizes and stuff like that, it's just you read the 4 hours and you get a prize.
Straight prize right there.
It started in December and it goes until March 1st. So you still have all of January and all of February to read. So you get this February break coming up, so there might be some time there where you want to read. So that's our winter reading club. I'll tell you guys
Nice.
now. And then, to piggyback off of that, several episodes ago, I talked about that podcast, Hold the Story. I talked about
You did speak about that, yes.
learning how to read, and there was a way that I started talking about it because Bob's Books is kind of like coming out, like updated all their stuff, and they're a phonics based or decodable based way to learn how to read. And there was another very popular way that people were teaching students how to, or teachers, school districts were teaching students how to read. That was called whole language or 3 cueing method, or sometimes a balanced literacy. And this is what the Soul to Story podcast was about, like how this curriculum kind of took off and became as popular as it was when there's really no science behind this working as a method to teach people how to read. It was an excellent excellent podcast. It was so good. I definitely encourage you all to listen to it. I'll talk about like just little points because I don't want to like spoil anything, but it was really, really good. And I'll just give you kind of like from the very first episode. How
many episodes is it? Is it ongoing or
no? It's done now.
Okay.
I think there's 8 or 9 episodes, and like the last, however many there are, the last one is the most recent because this came out in like 2023, but it caused such a big uproar and kind of like change that like they did record another one more recently to kind of catch you up on what's like going on now.
So who is the people that did it?
So it goes all the way back to like 1960 New Zealand.
Wow.
And she was a teacher who was helping the struggling readers kind of learn how to read. And so what she wound up doing, again, I listened to this a couple weeks ago, and like, so you might listen to it and I might have missed a part. You know what I mean? Like, so don't like quote me on this, but this is like kind of like.
Yeah, send an email.
Yeah.
Podcast at mcplibrary.org complaining.
Yeah. So she was working with these kids and she kind of noticed how they were reading, and she thought that, oh, what they're doing is kind of like the tricks or like hacking into learning how to read. I think she accidentally took the reason they were struggling and thought that that was how they were learning, but really these are the things you shouldn't be doing. And it kind of turned into the whole language. They're not learning like phonetics. It's like word based, and it turned into what kids were learning now was this kind of idea where you would a lot of guessing almost. Like they would have a picture. It would be a sentence and say the last word was. It's an example in the thing. It was like nap or something like that. Yeah. And so the teacher would cover up the word nap, the whole word, just cover it up. And then they say, look at the picture and guess what this word could be. It's like this word could be anything. The laying down, sleeping, like. At least give me the first letter.
That's called Pictionary.
Yeah, and it's like interesting. It's very interesting, and like when you hear it, them talking about it, you're like, "This, how could this ever work?" But this woman in the '60s, like, had such a cult following. However, she was like doing it, and it must have worked in some aspect. I'm not saying that like no kid has ever learned how to read since 1960. Obviously, that's not the case, right? So, a balance of a bunch of things. Kids can read, but this method doesn't seem to be the best for most children, right? So this was this whole language or 3 cueing method. There's three things you're supposed to do. I forgot what they were, but one was like guess.
No, that's not good.
So she starts off the podcast and it's like, why haven't schools been teaching children how to read? And I have an answer. I'm going to tell you the answer to the question. Kids are not being taught how to read because for decades teachers have been sold an idea about reading and how children learn to do it, and that idea is wrong. The people who have been selling this idea, so who did it, this woman, and then Henneman, which was with the publisher. It's like this story has everything. It has like drama, politics, money.
Wow.
Like the one of the authors has like not a Bugatti, a Maserati, like some crazy. Yeah, it has like everything.
Yeah.
The people have been selling this idea. I don't have any reason to believe they thought it was wrong. So this woman from New Zealand, I think her name was Marie something. Woman from New Zealand. These future author Lucy Calkins out of. Columbia University Teachers College, which was a very prestigious college. Like she also had her own kind of method. No one was doing this to make money. They all like believed in some fashion that this was helping, children learn how to read. She said, I think they wanted what I think everyone wants. They wanted kids to learn how to read. They wanted kids to love reading, but they believed so deeply in their idea about how to do it that they somehow ignored or explained away a whole lot of evidence that showed the idea was wrong. And then they went on to make a lot of money. And so the story like progresses. And again, I don't want to like spoil anything, but like I said, it has drama, it has politics, money, it's got it all. But the thing that some things I thought were very interesting were this came out, a lot of it because of the pandemic. So what happened was these kids were coming home from school, 3rd, 4th graders, coming home from school before the pandemic, say, and they would bring home a very specific book, like the same book all the time, and they would read it with their parents. And they were memorizing at this point. The parents thought they were reading it, but they weren't really reading it. They were like memorizing what they had learned. So, but the teachers would say, they're doing great. They're on grade level, which is, over on J's side. The kids come up to us and they're like, I'm level M. I'm level M. And like you're like, well, let's see, what, like I'm level M. My teacher said I'm level M. They are like dead set on being level M. I'm like, all right.
Was that like Fontenelle?
Fontes and Pinnell.
Oh,
They're the two authors to the two big ones that really push this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. So there, I don't know if it was Fontes or Pinnell, but one of them was driving around in the Maserati.
Oh, okay.
So they
didn't have that when we were kids.
No.
Because I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even remember that when I was a kid either. But they were stuck to this. And they talk about how teachers, these books that came out with the Fontes and Pinnell, it was like their Bible. These teachers were like obsessed with it in their classroom. Like Lucy Calkins, who's one of the big ones, she like, they would go to her conferences and she was like, like very, beloved. Anyway, so these kids are coming home.
Yeah.
Teachers are saying your kid can read. Or parents are seeing them read this book. Okay, great. But now they're home from the pandemic. And they're getting like a new book, or their parents are giving them a book from home and being like, here you go. And they're like, the one mom she's like, I could hear him. And I'm like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
He's not like, it's so far, not even like he's sounding out the word, like so far off. And she's like, what's been happening? I've been told. And like, honestly, it was like gut wrenching. There were several parents that were like, what do you do at this point? Like and she's another parent like had moved to the specific area, heard about how great the schools were. So she's like, I don't know, you send your kid to school. Do you think they're going to learn how to, they're the ones who know how kids learn to read. Yeah. And they're going to come home and they know how to read. And she's like, they weren't reading. And like, it's crazy. And I just, it was like sad because I'm like, what would I do? Like all of a sudden, especially if you knew your kid was struggling to read, right? Yeah. And you're like, okay, what do we have to do? Blah, blah, blah. But like, if to be told over and over again, your kid's on level and they're doing fine. And you're like, absolutely not. This is not right. I just thought that was like, it's the way it starts. Obviously, this woman is good at what she does, and it's the way that the podcast starts. And I do think it's a very like a good hook because you kind of put yourself in that position, like, what would I do, or like, how would I be feeling this way? And I also found the politics piece very fascinating because when Bush was elected in 2000. His administration was very pro literacy, like very
because of
Barbara
Laura.
Bush, and Laura. Yeah, I think it started with Barbara, and then Laura. Like that whole family has been very like literacy related. Neil, apparently one of the Neil Bush, one of the children, was struggling to read, and Barbara just like that's been her thing. So the family's like thing. So when he became his administration, they even like. Campaigned on literacy and reading, and so their initiative was called the Reading First Initiative, and theirs was phonics based. Okay, it was opposite of this whole language, approach based. So theirs was like phonics based, like old school, blah, blah, blah. And so and only 2 districts in like the country were using it at that time, and so he went to go. One of the schools that was using it and having a lot of success was. Like a poor school, mostly Black and Hispanic students, and they're like, which was kind of like the opposite of the affluent suburbs teaching this whole language, like approach. Like theirs was like old school, like, but their test scores was amazing. So he went to go visit the school, and he read a book to them, and that was on September 11th. 2001.
Oh, that's for the one?
That was the one. That was the school he was at when September 11th happened.
Oh, my goodness.
He was at this school, like, talking about this. Like, trying to show, like, what a great approach this is, how these kids are doing so well. And obviously.
Wow.
And then from then, politics have been politics, forever, but, like, it was especially divisive. So now anything that the Bush administration was pushing, it was going to get turned down for Democrats or people who were, not fans of Bush. They were just going to like kind of say no. And like there were several teachers who said as much. They were like, whatever that administration was pushing out, we don't want anything to do with it. Like we didn't even look at it. And he had a neuroscientist as part of his initiative. There was a neuroscientist who studied the way children learn to read, which the New Zealand lady never did. Lucy Calkins never did. None of these people had neuroscience or any kind of science to back up what they were saying as far as this like approach to reading. And he did, but people didn't care. So it kind of was like dead in the water. And then I know like there was like No Child Left Behind, which has its own. I'm not saying that the Bush administration was perfect or reading for, like, but it's just an interesting, kind of like how politics can really cause, this stuff to happen, like, even though it shouldn't be political. Children learning how to read shouldn't be political. But
so what is in the schools now?
It depends. So now, actually, coming up to the most recent because of this, because
Good question.
So like I said, they're the most recent one, or maybe the two most recent episodes of the podcast have kind of been what has happened since.
Yeah.
So one of the families that was listening to the podcast was a mom, and she was listening with her two sons. They were like 5th grade and 3rd grade. And the 5th grader was like, Mom, this is me. Like, I can't read, and this is how I feel.
Oh, my goodness.
And her husband and their father is a senator in Nevada.
Okay.
And so he listened to it. He like heard what his kid had to say, and then they started, and then he wrote legislation, and it's like bipartisan legislation.
Okay.
He's Republican, but he did get someone from, the Democrats, and like to kind of contest, get this 3 queuing method out of the schools. And since then, 25 state legislatures. This report came out from the same American Public Media on December 4th. So recently. So starting December 4th, 25 state legislatures and countless school boards have acted over the past 2 years to move schools away from the discredited approach to teaching reading investigated by the APM Reports podcast Sold a Story. And 2 mothers in Massachusetts are now suing the school district.
Wow.
That's going to take forever.
Yeah.
It's more of a symbolic thing, I think, than anything else, but just going to show how they want this out. So now they're trying to move towards the science of reading, it's called. And it's not a curriculum. It's like this theory of how kids learn to read. And it's the same neuroscientists from Bush's administration and some other people, and they're kind of talking about this. But they do warn teachers, again, in one of the more recent episodes of the podcast, that like, you can't go all the way the other way, which tends to happen. People are obsessed with whole language. It doesn't work. Now they're going to be obsessed with science of reading. He's like, kids don't need to know what a diphthong is. Like, don't get so caught up in the curriculum. Like, you know what I mean? So like, he cautioned you about that, which I think is like very interesting. And you can look. So my child is not even close to being in school yet, but I did look up what the district that I live in is doing, and I'm like, we're gonna ignore her. So when you get to school, don't listen to anything that the teachers say. But like I said, by the time he gets there, maybe it'll have changed. These things are slow. And another thing was, some of the teachers that she interviewed were like, I knew this wasn't working, and I did it my way. Yeah. Or you know what I mean, like. This one in particular teacher, she has a great story. Like, her mom held her back because she couldn't read. She learned to read finally doing the phonics. There was one teacher, it's like 1960 or something like that. One teacher in the school was doing this phonics base, was like, this is how you read. She learned how to read. Yeah. She was so like impacted by that. She became a teacher, wanted to teach kids how to read, got this curriculum, and was like, this isn't how you learn how to read. But she went to like a wealthy school. She was like a Black woman who wanted to go back to like a Black and like poor areas. And then so she got jobs at wealthy schools to see what they were doing. She's like, these rich kids can't read either, because this isn't how you learn to read. So then she would, on the side, she would get paid to tutor kids on how to read and use the original method of how you learn how to read. But she's like, our kids can't be paying for these after school tutors.
Absolutely not.
So it's just, I really encourage you to listen to it. I wouldn't say the episodes are terribly long. They move very fast. They have really great interviews. And if you have kids like 4th, 5th, 6th graders, listen to it with them. I would say it's appropriate. It was great. It was really good. Wow. I'm glad. I know I said, I'm like, maybe I'll listen to it and talk about it. And I'm glad I did, because really, really good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Interesting to kind of see where this goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome.
And if you have a kid, I think in the 4th, 5th, or 6th grade, I think the state tests are going on right now. Oh. They're doing the diagnostics. So you're probably, it's very timely if you've made it through the entire episode.
Yeah. And I will say, some kids do learn how to read, can pick up reading easier than others. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like all kids, some kids really just can pick it up, and they say that, in the podcast. Like, some kids just pick up reading in like whole language or phonetic or whatever. Some kids are, different, but
just do it.
It's, for the ones who can't, this is guess the word is not the
yeah, exactly.
Not the way to go.
What do you think this is? Bed?
Yeah.
No. Person on bed.
Wild.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode. If you want to listen to older episodes or read our show notes, visit our website, mcplpodcast.com. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. I think there's a lot to like for this week's episode. And hit subscribe because we got great stuff coming up this year here on the channel. So for Sarah and Nicole, I'm Sal. See you on the next show.
Bye.